KY3 News starts now.
Boy, wintry mix returning to the Ozarks. What's falling right now, the road conditions across the area during the evening commute, and the winter weather advisory now in effect. Plus,
I just wanted to know then that I cared for them and that I was incredibly sorry for what happened.
the father of a convicted killer speaks out. The heartache he feels following the death of 10-year-old Haley Owens and the grief of knowing his son will be put to death for the crime. That's coming up in just a few minutes. First, though, happening right now, snow, sleet, and rain all falling on the Ozarks in different places right now. This is a live look outside the KY3 studios where it is a rain and a sleet mix, and it is becoming a mess out there, slowly but surely, and more quickly in some spots. We have team coverage of the winter blast and the impacts we could have on the roads here in the Ozarks coming up with our reporters and staff all over. We begin tonight with meteorologist Abby Dyer in the Storm Team Center tonight with our first forecast.
Yeah, and it's just a mess, as you said, Ethan, on the radar. The radar's even having a hard time kind of showing you the difference between the rain, the sleet, the snow. We have a mixture of all of it, and in most places, like you mentioned here in Springfield, we're getting a mix of several different things. We have some rain coming down along with some sleet, and I'm just now hearing that there are a few little tiny snowflakes mixing in here in Springfield, at least on the west side of town. As we look at the Doppler radar picture, the snowfall is really coming down over here in our eastern counties. This is where we have some heavy snow, in fact, and it's accumulating already. Then kind of a sleet, freezing rain mixture as you get closer to the Missouri and Arkansas state line. Some freezing rain falling down in some of the higher terrain in northern Arkansas where temperatures are below freezing. This is where we have that band of heavy snow. If you're traveling east on Highway 60, you're going to run into that. In fact, I'm just now getting some pictures from that area. Look at Douglas County. This is right now just submitted through the KY3 weather app. This is Douglas County. You can see a little bit of that accumulation on the roadways. Those are big, wet snowflakes, and they are going to accumulate in a hurry. This photo sent in from Mountain View, you can actually see some little accumulation in the yard there too. No street. I'm told that most of the main roads are okay and just wet at this point, Ethan, but if you're over here in the eastern portion of the Ozarks, you're going to start to see those secondary roads deteriorate pretty quickly for the evening commute. I'll be back in just a couple minutes. Of course, I'm going to run you through Futurecast hour by hour, and we'll talk about where all this is going to go later tonight.
All right, we'll see you soon. Happening now, a wintry mix of precipitation falling in Arkansas and has been there for a couple of hours now. Caitlin Sinnett picks up our winter weather team coverage in Harrison. Caitlin, what are you seeing right now?
Ethan, right now I'm off Highway 65 here in Harrison, and the rain is just coming down. There are lots of drivers on the road. I actually have seen some RDOT trucks as well as Boone County road trucks driving back and forth. Both departments tell me that with this kind of weather, it's hard to address the roads ahead of time. Both RDOT and the Boone County road department say when the temperatures fluctuate, it's hard to determine what's going to happen. And if it rains before it snows, it can wash away salt or pre-treatment on the roads. So road departments can get their trucks ready, but have to wait to see what will happen. Now the weather has hit, those departments are out and about, like I said before, checking those roads.
Shutting some vehicles down, some trucks down and stuff, and putting our spreaders on them, getting our salt and stuff ready in case we do have to load out, putting plows on our trucks.
Now, both state and county road departments say if you see them on the road, try to give them as much space as possible. And if you're out here driving, be conscious that the roads are very slick. And they also say if you don't have to be out in this weather, try to stay at home. Reporting live in Harrison, I'm Caitlin Sinnett.
In Springfield, we have some sleet coming down right now, mixed with rain. A few snow flurries out there, as Abby said. Sarah Forhatz continues our team coverage tonight with a look at road temperatures and conditions for drivers heading home from work now. Sarah.
Ethan, the road temperature was still 44 degrees at last check here in Springfield. So the ground, 44 degrees. As you heard Abby mention, though, that temperature will start dropping. Right now, traffic is moving just fine. And, Ethan, what a difference 1 hour makes. We were out here at 4 o'clock, and there was really nothing coming down yet. And now you can see that it is really picking up. We'll zoom into the mulch here on the ground because the mulch really gives you a good idea of kind of the accumulation thus far. But this is still, at this point, definitely a sleet mix. And again, road temperature is warm enough, but as that temperature starts to fall, starting from now until the 6 o'clock hour, 6:30, when people are really starting to pick up, drive home for the evening, you better be very, very careful.
All right, thanks there for that. Of course, you can stay up to date on the winter weather online, ky3.com, and with our free KY3 news and weather apps for your smartphone and tablet. You'll find hour-by-hour forecasts for the area. You can check out live radar conditions, which is what we're seeing here, and you can see if your school has been added to the closing list. Right now, we can tell you only jury campuses in Ava and Houston have called off evening classes for tonight. And now West Plains, where? West Plains, Missouri State also canceling evening classes today. That's just coming in right now as we speak. You can get the latest at ky3.com. Because of the winter weather, the Branson Salvation Army will be open tonight. People who stay there are given a hot dinner and breakfast the next morning. The Salvation Army says it's all about giving the local homeless population a place to get a good night's rest.
Like the two guys I have in there now have been sleeping all morning. They slept all night last night after they ate. They got up, they had breakfast, they went back in, and they've been sleeping ever since because they're so exhausted from being outside and not getting good sleep.
The warming shelter is located just off Highway 76 behind Dalton's gas station on Stanley Boulevard. Doors open tonight at 6 o'clock. It opens, we should tell you, every night. The temperatures dip below freezing. Now to our conversation with the father of a son on death row for one of the most horrific crimes ever in Springfield. Tonight, the father of convicted rapist and murderer Craig Wood sits down with us about life after the kidnapping and killing of that little girl, 10-year-old Haley Owens, at the hands of his son.
You know, I sat there last Saturday talking to Craig at the Potosi Center, and I'm sitting across the table listening to this man that we had this profound discussion about. And then knowing that he's sitting in prison for this horrible crime he committed is just, you know, it's just difficult to grasp, to understand.
Oh, I can't imagine. Sarah Forhatz has the sit-down interview with Jim Wood about his life in the past 5 years since that awful crime scarred Springfield, and about having a son on death row. That's tonight on KY3 News at 10. Jim Wood has worked with Haley's family to get Haley's Law passed. Still trying. It's a measure that would speed up the Amber Alert system. Today we can tell you the bill was formally introduced to the Missouri legislature for a third time now. Lawmakers failed to pass Haley's Law the previous 2 times. Springfield Republican Curtis Trent says the bill is his top priority this year, so we'll be following that and keep you posted on the progress of Haley's Law this year. A delay in a court appearance for a man who hit and killed a boy outside a Springfield elementary school. Lonnie Yeager is now scheduled to go before a judge on April 2nd. In 2017, you may recall, this was the scene. Police say Yeager suffered a seizure and drove onto that sidewalk, pinning a group of students and staff at Campbell Elementary against a fence, killing the 10-year-old little boy you just saw, Riddick Tudor. 4 others were injured. At the time, Yeager did not have a valid driver's license. Next here at 5, another spike in flu cases locally, plus a health challenge for young students, teaching heart health and why it hits especially close to home for a local educator. Flu numbers continue to climb this season. The Greene County Health Department now reports 2,127 cases so far. That is up nearly 750 cases in just the past week. Across Missouri, there's been more than 19,000 positive influenza cases reported this flu season and 11 flu-related deaths. In Arkansas, more than 11,000 people have tested positive for the flu, with 25 flu-related deaths, including, sadly, 1 child. February is Heart Month, and elementary school students all across Missouri are helping their heart health and raising money for the American Heart Association. They're taking the Kids Heart Challenge. Joe Hickman reports tonight on the special meeting that program has for Republic's Assistant Superintendent.
Even if it's dancing to the Baby Shark song, any activity is good. And this Kids Heart Challenge assembly at Sweeney Elementary is encouraging heart-healthy behavior as students pledge to be more physically active, drink more water, and eat better.
We do some stations with them, dribbling basketballs, jump ropes, push-ups, sit-ups, kind of focus on stuff they can do at home by themselves if they needed to.
But the students also raise money for the American Heart Association by getting pledges from family and friends for completing the challenge. And over the years, the association has funded over $4 billion in heart research that has helped save lives. Lives like 8-year-old 3rd grader Audrey Pierce, whose father, Matt, is the assistant superintendent of the Republic School District. When she was 3 months old, Audrey was diagnosed with a congenital birth defect that enlarged her heart and damaged her left ventricle. She had 3 heart attacks before undergoing a heart transplant when she was just 4 months old. But Matt had many anxious moments wondering if his little girl would make it.
We took a picture where I was holding Audrey, and I talked to the nurse, and I said, I kind of have the feeling that I might not get to do this much more. She just looked gray and you know, no life in her body, and you're just thinking, are we ever going to come back from this? It's a very strenuous, stressful, lots of highs and lows and very dramatic, but it's a trying time for a family.
The Pierce family got another scare when Audrey developed a form of cancer that sometimes occurs during an organ transplant. But that's now in remission. Matt's experience, though, led him to get involved in the American Heart Association on its Midwest Board of Directors and promote the Kids Heart Challenge in his schools.
I hope that we're helping kids make better choices at the dinner table, be more active, but also just remember that there are people that are going through those things, and how can we give back and help them?
Reporting from Republic, I'm Joe Hickman.
And the school says for every $50 raised, a life could be saved. And with almost $20,000 raised last year, the Republic school system alone affected 400 lives. Okay, weather is next. It is happening now as we speak, isn't it? We have a lot to talk about about the winter weather advisory currently in effect. We just received word the Success, Missouri School District is canceled for tomorrow. No school in Success tomorrow. We have snow, rain, freezing rain, all falling right now across the area, making for a pretty tricky evening drive home. Abby's in next with an hour-by-hour look at the wintry mess and when warmer temperatures will return. First, though, your weather school question. Here it is. The record high temperature in Antarctica was which of these? 38 degrees, 48 degrees, or 58 for a high?
And now, your KY3 Storm Team forecast.
Good evening, everybody. It's 5:16. We have just so much to talk about on this radar picture, so we're going to dive right in. We have all 4 different types of precipitation falling in the Ozarks right now. That is snow, sleet, freezing rain for some of you, rain showers for others, and the radar just looks like a mess. And in most locations, you're actually getting a mix of 2 or more of those things. Here in Springfield, we've had the rain combined with sleet. We're mixing in some snow now. Some snow being reported in Willard. Radar picking up on that. See that little purple color there? And north of here, we're starting to see some snow flurries flying. I'm hearing about snow in Lebanon and Conway. All of this is moving up to the north. We've had heavy snow reports coming out of Douglas County, southern Texas County, seeing some heavy snow showers, and I'm told that the snowflakes are pretty large and pretty heavy, so they are going to accumulate pretty quickly. I have accumulation as high rate as a half an inch per hour. As you move down into northern Arkansas, the radar is a mess here too. In some of the higher elevations, what we are seeing is sleet. We're mixing that in with some freezing rain in Harrison currently, and then we have cold rain showers extending back out into north central Arkansas. It's just a mess no matter where you're at, and I did get a couple of photos sent in. I really want to thank everybody for sharing your pictures and your videos with us through the KY3 weather app. You're really our eyes and our ears on days like this when the radar looks like a mess. We're not totally sure what's falling, and the radar has a hard time telling us. Well, you can see what it looks like in Douglas County. This is in Drury along Highway 95. You can see a little bit of accumulation on the roadway. Do watch for slick spots if you're getting the snow, because I'm told, especially on secondary roads, smaller roads, you are going to see some accumulation happen pretty quickly. This is Douglas County, just east of Norwood. You can see some of the accumulation there on the deck. We're going to move into southern Texas County here. Rita sent us this photo. You can see some of the accumulation on grassy surfaces. Probably not too bad on the roads just yet, but I think that that process will happen quickly. In Harrison, yeah, this is what's happening down there. Some freezing rain. This was sent in from Brian Belding. You can see elevated surfaces have that nice little coating of ice. I'm expecting about 1/10 of an inch down there. And in Republic, we've been mixing in a few snowflakes from time to time. Traffic is slow going. Everybody's taking it slow for the evening commute, but as Sarah was telling you earlier, road temperatures, at least right now, along I-44 are going to be above the freezing point, so main roads, highways, interstates should be just wet, at least at this point, but temperatures are dropping fast, and that can change in a hurry, especially when the sun goes down this time of the year, too. It's 35 currently in Springfield. We are now getting some snow showers mixing in at the airport. Winter weather advisory in place for for everybody through tonight, early tomorrow morning. Does not expire until 6 o'clock in the morning. Temperatures dropping fast, and they're at these critical numbers. I got to tell you, days like this, as a meteorologist, it is truly a matter of 1 degree at the surface or above our head that makes the difference in what we're seeing. Today, we just get a mess, kind of a combination of everything, and temperatures are very close to these critical numbers. 31 right now in Mountain Grove, where you're seeing some snow. 32 up in Clinton. The event is heading your direction. The evening drive could be slick in many spots. I encourage you to take it slow, stay off the roads if you can. There is going to be kind of this wintry mess on the radar through much of the evening, not wrapping up until very late tonight. And I think even late tonight, we could still see some freezing drizzle or some drizzle, and it all is going to depend on what the temperature is. So before you head out in the morning, of course, Brandon's going to have the latest on the weather conditions and the road conditions, but also check the thermometer before you hit the roads. If you're at 32 or below, there will likely still be some slick spots around. Temperatures in the 40s as we head into tomorrow afternoon. So we're going to melt a lot of this off pretty quickly, and we turn things right around for this 7-day forecast. Numbers are going to be back close to 50 by the time we get to Thursday. I have us getting close to 60 by the time we get to Saturday. So we go from winter weather to spring weather in just a matter of days. It's weather here in the Ozarks, and particularly this February, we've just been swinging back and forth.
We really have.
We get hit with these wintry weather events, and we'll be watching it, of course, all night tonight. Ron will have the latest at 6 on road conditions, and I do think things are going to deteriorate, so be careful out there.
Okay.
Weather quiz question for today has to do with the warmest temperatures in Antarctica. What do you think? 38, 48, 58?
Surely
Fahrenheit,
they got close to 60 one time, right? At least one time.
One time. Just once.
The hope was there,
yes,
to get to 60, 58 degrees. Okay. Plans for a state-of-the-art soccer complex at the Lake of the Ozarks. The price tag for that facility and who could be footing the bill. A tournament soccer complex at the Lake of the Ozarks is one step closer now to becoming reality. Andrew Hambranek reports tonight a strategic company is now looking at how the facility could be paid for.
Exo Strategic announced in December that a 12-field tournament soccer complex could feasibly be built at 25 locations across Camden, Miller, and Morgan counties.
Regardless of which county the complex ultimately is constructed in, it's a benefit to the entire lake.
Now, the strategic company says the best way they believe to pay for this complex would be to raise the lodging tax to 6% across Camden, Morgan, and Miller counties. If you get a hotel room in Camden County, that means you'll now be paying $103 for a $100 room. Some hotel managers are a little hesitant.
How do now that's money y'all are getting, so I'm not recouping that money, but now I can't raise my rates this year, next year, the year after, because you just raised them for me for a soccer field.
They say because the complex could allow nearly 100,000 more rooms to be sold, hotels and lodging services will make more business. He also says it's a lot easier to pass a tax increase on lodging rates than it would be to increase a sales tax.
If you can impose a transient guest tax and you pass the tax along to the people that are visiting, even though it has an impact on your business, and I'm not saying that it doesn't, that is more likely to pass a general election.
If the Lake Sports Authority decides to ask voters for a lodging tax increase, they hope to have that question on the November ballot in all 3 counties. Exo Strategic says if they go this route, the tax increase has to pass in Camden County.
We've got to stop thinking about this won't work, this won't work, this won't work, and fighting amongst each other like we have in the past that has held us back.
The decision on how to pay for the complex and where it will be located is expected to be made by the Lake Sports Authority by June 1st. Reporting in Osage Beach, I'm Andrew Havranek.
The Lake Sports Authority is also looking at a company to run the tournaments. Right now, the largest youth soccer tournament company in the nation is interested. Missouri voters can now cast an absentee ballot for the April election. In Greene County, voters are deciding on issues covering 9 cities, several schools, and 2 fire districts. You can cast your vote at the clerk's office at the Greene County Archives Center Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 until April 1st. That's located at 1126 North Boonville near the courthouse. Homebound or out-of-town voters need to request a ballot and send it back to the clerk's office by March 20th. Now for a check of what we're working on for KY3 News at 6 and what's new at KY3.com right now. Steve Grant.
All right, Ethan, Missouri prisons and jails a step closer to becoming drone-free zones. Online at KY3.com. What's next for that piece of proposed legislation? Then new at 6, from restaurants, dry cleaners to your mail carrier. Have we reached the tipping point on tips? On Your Side is asking, should tips be just added to your bill? You can also vote on our Facebook page on that right now. Tonight at 6, who to tip and how much? Ethan and Abby back in a moment.
Boy, here it is. It even looks a little bit scary like this. The pinks and blues. We
got all sorts of colors. We got purples, greens, yellows, blues. All of it is coming down in a mix in some form. Most of the blue is coming down as a snow sleet mix, and then we have kind of the sleet mixed with rain and some freezing rain down in northern Arkansas.
Wow.
So just a mess out this evening. If you're going to be out, be careful. And as we head through the rest of the evening, all of that wintry weather is going to shift up into our northern counties. I think we actually see some rain take over as temperatures warm up, and then we're going to see a little bit of drizzle or freezing drizzle through the overnight hours. So there could still be slick spots out early tomorrow, but I think for the most part we're talking about this system coming to an end overnight tonight.
And when do we have like a 50 or 60 coming, right?
On Saturday. Yes.
Saturday's the day.
Make it to Saturday.
Make it to Saturday, and then we're golden. Thanks for watching. We'll see you at 6.